Review Civil War, a masterpiece about war journalism. Civil War is a 2024 dystopian film written and directed by Alex Garland. It follows a team of journalists traveling across the United States during a civil war fought between an authoritarian federal government and several regional factions. The cast includes Kirsten Dunst, Wagner Moura, Cailee Spaeny, McKinley Henderson, Sonoya Mizuno, and Nick Offerman. Principal photography began in Atlanta, Georgia in 2022, with production moving to London later in the year. Civil War premiered at South by Southwest on March 14, 2024, and was wide theatrically released in the United States by A24, and in the United Kingdom by Entertainment Film Distributors on April 12, 2024. With a budget of $50 million, Civil War is A24's most expensive film to date. To date, it has grossed over $93 million worldwide. A civil war has erupted between the United States government and various regional factions. The president, who now is serving a third term, claims that victory is close at hand. Renowned war photographer Lee Smith saves aspiring photojournalist Jesse Cullen from a suicide bombing in Brooklyn. Lee and her colleague Joel intend to travel to Washington, D.C. to interview and photograph the president before the city falls. Lee's mentor Sammy asks to accompany them as far as Charlottesville, where the Western forces, WF, of Texas and California are assembling for a final offensive. Despite Lee's hesitance, she and Joel agree. Lee is not aware that Jesse convinces Joel to take her with them as well. After departing the city, the group stops at a rural gas station protected by armed men and buys gas with Canadian dollars, as the value of the US dollar has crashed because of the war. Jessie wanders off to a nearby car wash, where she finds two men being tortured by the owners, who claim that the men are looters. One owner follows Jessie, but Lee defuses the situation by taking a photo of the man posing with his victims. After they leave, Jessie berates herself for being too scared to take photos. Following an overnight stop near ongoing fighting, the group documents the combat the next day. As militiamen assault a building held by loyalists, Lee sees Jessie's potential as a war photographer, while Jessie photographs the militia executing captured loyalist soldiers. Continuing, the group spends the night at a refugee camp before passing through a small town, where, under watchful guard, residents attempt to live in blissful ignorance. Lee and Jessie grow closer, trying on clothes at a local shop. Later, they are pinned down in a sniper battle amid the remains of a Christmas fair. The snipers mock Joel's attempts to ascertain which party they are fighting for or against, telling Joel that they and the sniper in a nearby house are simply trying to survive. Jessie's nerve builds and her photography skills improve as she witnesses several deaths and develops a mentorship under Lee. Jessie asks if Lee would photograph Jessie being killed, and Lee responds, "What do you think?" implying she might. While driving, the four encounter two other reporters they know, Tony and Bohai. Tony and Jessie playfully switch vehicles, only for Bohai and Jessie to be captured by loyalist death squads, who are dumping civilian corpses in a mass grave. The rest of the group tries to intervene, but a militant kills Bohai and asks where the others are from, killing Tony when he says Hong Kong. Sammy saves the group by running over two of the militants, but is shot by a third and dies as they flee. Arriving at the WF military camp in Charlottesville, the group grieves in different ways. Lee takes a photo of Sammy's corpse, but deletes it shortly after. Joel gets drunk and begins to become hysterical. Jessie explores the campsite. Two fellow reporters inform the group that the government's top generals have mostly surrendered, leaving Washington largely unprotected, and a Western invasion is imminent. They follow the WF into Washington as Jessie's photography becomes increasingly risky. Meanwhile, Lee has a brief post-traumatic stress disorder episode and is unable to take pictures. In the besieged capital, the presidential limousine unsuccessfully attempts to flee the White House. But when the limousine crashes, Lee intuits that the president is still in the building and leads her group inside. A WF squad follows and faces off with the remaining Secret Service, including one in the press room, who unsuccessfully tries to negotiate safe passage of the president to Greenland or Alaska. When Jessie exposes herself to gunfire to get a photo of the ensuing West Wing gunfight, Lee pushes her to safety. Jessie photographs Lee as she is shot dead in the crossfire. The Western soldiers capture the president in the Oval Office. Joel tells them to wait so he can get a quote. The disheveled president begs Joel for mercy, saying, "Don't let them kill me." Joel replies, "Yeah, that'll do." Jessie takes a photo of the president's summary execution. Western soldiers pose with his corpse. Civil War received positive reviews from critics, with specific praise for its depiction of warfare, and Garland's directorial choices, such as the use of handheld camera footage. The film received both praise and criticism for its approach to contemporary political themes, including concerns of democratic decline and increased political polarization. We have no idea why this war is being fought. Perhaps it is a just war. Perhaps it is a crazed cessationist rebellion. We aren't afforded such information. It would only get in the way of the vital message war is hell. And be careful when you tell your fellow American to go to hell for their political differences. What you end up with might be far darker and damning than you ever dreamed. The genius of this film rests partially in an absurd alliance between California and Texas, two of the most opposite states in the Union. By joining this ideological odd couple, the story immunizes itself against accusations of partisanship or cultural favoritism. Yet it also beckons us to imagine what kind of national crisis could bring such opposites together. This film will be awarded, there is no doubt. Alex Garland has broken new ground, and his script and actors and cinematography deserve all the awards they get.